We're a few minutes early, so we're going to let people populate in here and kind of, while we're getting started, kind of give you a recap of everything that's going on. But welcome to the Worst Golf Podcast. Everybody wants to be the best. We strive to be the worst. When a bad take is necessary, we're going to be here to share it with you. Normally, we have a lot of them. This show's going to have some good takes, too. I'm your host, JB, and with me is Morgan.
I'm here.
She'll spend a lot of her time off camera, especially now being sick. Yet she's going to keep me in line with all the buttons in front of her. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. It helps us more than you know. Like the video, chat away. We hope you guys are enjoying everything. Morgan's following the comments as best she can as well. So before we get started into the show, I wanted to recap a couple of things. First, you're here.
I am.
Can you tell everybody what's been going on the last few days?
Yes. This is the best I could do. I had COVID and it was amazing. Let me tell you. Yesterday morning, I literally said to Josh at I don't know, 6 a.m. I was like, can you just end this? Like, just take me out to pasture.
I had the pillow ready to go over her face.
I was like, just take me out to pasture. Just let me go. Cause this is not, I can't take this anymore. Like the pressure was so bad in my head that I couldn't take it. And then the weirdest thing happened at 3 o'clock. I just felt better. There was no, I couldn't explain it. There's no reason for it.
You got a little bit of a thing from the show Friends when Phoebe got sick with the smelly cat voice thing.
The voice,
and,
yeah.
I haven't seen that show in 20 years, but you kind of have that. The voice isn't all there yet.
No, the voice is definitely not all there yet, nor is my taste or smell. So I can't smell it all. I actually so Arrow gets this medicated dog food. It's wet food and it freaking smells horrible. And
it is a disaster of a smell.
Legitimately put my whole head in his bowl and I couldn't smell it at all. I also tried to smell laundry beads, nothing. But I do think that I have the faintest sense of taste back. If you gave me something blind, I wouldn't know what it is. But showing it to me and me tasting it, I get the tiniest hint of what it is. So I think that it's at least on its way back. So I'm happy about that.
I saw in the comments, Neil is going to play golf after this. Neil, enjoy your round today. Take it easy. Your food takes this week have been both amazing and horrifying. So we appreciate that on the forum.
They were terrible.
If you're not on the THP forum, you got to get there. We talk about everything and anything and everything from golf to everything else. Yesterday, I had a pretty interesting meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to go into huge details, but I'm going to tell you, if you like music and you like golf, you are not going to want to miss Off Course with Canada tomorrow. Dan has a guest on, I won't give the guy's name away, but he has a guest on that is starting a golf company that...
Don't hit it. Don't bang it.
No, I'm not going to bang it. That actually made this for us. This is hand painted. It's a Fender guitar.
It looks awesome in person.
Yeah, and this is going to hang in the studio somewhere. We have a lot going on, so who knows what the studio is going to be in the future. Have you ever had those days where ideas just come to you? And I have a really good one, and I'm not going to get into it now because it could never come to fruition. But I had an idea today hit me that is next level, and I brought it down, and normally she dampens my enthusiasm with real world talk. But today, you didn't.
No. So, okay, this is very true. Usually he comes into my office and he's like, I have the best idea.
And it involves us buying an RV or something.
Something. Yeah. And I'm like, slow down. Let's take this one step at a time.
Before you go on, I want to answer somebody who said, is this the first time I've touched a guitar? No, I can actually play a little guitar. I can't read music. I don't know what I'm doing, but it's that memory thing where I can mimic what I hear.
Uh-huh.
So I can play a couple the song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge. I can play the opening to that.
What?
It's true. I'll do it after the show.
Okay, because I need the proof of this because I've never heard this before.
Yeah, so it's not a real thing, but it's real. But anyway, back to your story.
I don't remember what I was saying.
About dampening my enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah. I've got COVID brain, people. Bad COVID brain. Seriously, yesterday, what?
Stop going off topic. You're going to forget where you were going.
Sorry. Okay. Wait, tell me again.
Dampen my enthusiasm.
Got it. Okay. So he will always come downstairs and he's like, I got this great idea. And I'm like, okay, we need to take this down 10 notches. But this one, he came in and I was like, oh, I like this. This is a good idea. It's going to take some finessing. And I don't think that it's quite right yet.
It's not ready yet. We're probably
A year?
months to a year
Yeah.
away, but it's going to be game changing.
It is. It's going to be game. It's a great idea. It really, this one, like I'm excited about.
Yeah. And it's going to happen hell or high water. But it's going to happen. So, going back to this, you have to listen to Off Course tomorrow. There's a brand that's new to the space, and Dan is going to be recording with them shortly. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Excuse me, I'm still getting over it, so I'm still coughing. This Gatorade Zero does nothing.
Here, I'll switch off you for a second so you can cough. We're literally a hot mess. I spent the entire morning because I woke up this morning and I was like, guess what? He's like, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel amazing. I feel so freaking good. I went and I Lysoled the whole house. I'm like washing all of the sheets and towels and blankets and everything on sanitize. I was like, I'm getting all of this done because I have so much energy because I actually feel like a human being again.
So back to me.
Yeah.
Just kidding. So yes, that idea is next level. It is, we'll call it THP 2.0.
Sure.
You got to do the sign from
wait, it's okay, but I got it. It's 2.0
from The Office.
The Office, yeah.
Reminder to people, if you are on Instagram, head over to THP Golf on Instagram and enter the contest to win a Seymour putter. They're kind enough to give away one of the mini giant DFs and a mirror. The mirror is amazing. It works. If you practice with it, you will love it. Neil, it does not. I started laughing when I read it. It does not involve a van. There will not be another van. She is. She pulled the veto card on that one.
Yeah, that's never happening again.
But it is awesome. So we have the Albatross Club going on now, and I'm going to ask you to kind of go over what's been going on so I can go get a coffee.
Okay. Yes. I just wanted to once again say thank you to everybody who has been paying it forward. They were nonstop. Like I would fall asleep and I'd wake up and I'd have like all these pay it forwards to take care of. And it just, even when I was feeling like super horrible, it was such like a moving thing. So I just want to say thank you again to everybody for doing that. You guys are really seriously awesome. And he's taking a very long time to get a cough drop. Sorry, the sniffles, like I'm doing my best. I know this probably sounds terrible to the listeners, but I apologize. But seriously, thank you to everybody. This has definitely been the most amazing Albatross Club so far.
Yeah, and thank you for covering for me there. I had to whisk away to get a cough drop, which is in my mouth and very cold right now. But with the Albatross Club, I wanted to talk a little bit about, because we teased the golden ticket coming back for holiday cheer. It is. People can pick what event they want to go to. But we brought back last year, or I should say we brought in last year, the shoulder tap for an event. Somebody in our chat room there, Cody, was the receiver of one. Mm-hmm. He got shoulder tapped right into the Granddaddy, which is coming up next month. And after visiting Callaway a couple of weeks ago, yeah, they're excited. We're excited. Yes. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to do that again this year. Be active on the forum, chat, talk gear, talk golf, highlight golf.
Yeah, no, I was going to say.
You could get tapped and you could be on your way to one of the best events. And the best way to get involved in that, get involved in the live update threads as they're up. Yeah. If you are in there chatting, cheering the team on, asking questions, you could be on your way to the next one. So those are all coming in 2023. They're actually going to start coming before then for those paying attention.
Is that a little spoiler?
And we are here for a couple of weeks. We're live in the studio for a couple of weeks.
I think
2 weeks. I'm gone to Ballyhack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you leave on Saturday.
Yes, I'm meeting Chris Koski from Edel Golf and Canadan and James.
J-Man.
To do some content for you guys on some stuff upcoming. And then I have another trip with Danny. We'll call it the makeup trip.
Yeah.
To Dormy Club in December, because I was unable to play at the last one. So we're going back to Dormy Club for some fun and some content filming there. I'm going to get right into the THPR questions because we had a ton of them this week. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them because some of them are pretty in depth. But if you want to make sure that we don't get anything important coming
I'll pay
through on
attention to the comments.
The first question was, what are the worst 3 rules in golf? And this is tough because there's a lot of them, but I have 3 that impact me. The first, all OB should be a hazard. I'm convinced of this. And there's so many local rules around this, because if you were playing golf at your local public course on a Saturday morning and you hit a ball on the first tee OB, nobody is driving back to go to the tee box. They should hit a provisional. They don't. You think it's a hazard. You don't. Maybe it's your first time at the course. It's a pace of play thing. The second one, if we are supposed to police ourselves on the golf course, correct?
Yes.
We call rules on ourselves.
It's an honor system.
It is. A divot in the fairway should be ground under repair. And there's no reason it's not, other than the argument against it is, well, what's considered a divot and it'll be taken advantage of. And it would be.
Yeah.
No more than anything else now. But we're allowed to fix the area in other places. And the divot in the fairway rewards people in tournament play that play early, because those divots don't exist.
True.
And then it brings in, well, if you play early and you're trying to compete with people behind you, do you fill it? Maybe you don't. Maybe you're that guy.
Oh, don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
The last one is, no shock to anybody who's following what my answer is going to be. Pace of play.
Yes.
There should be something actually enforceable, both at a public course and at the tour level, about pace of play. The fact that there's not is insane. We can have everything under the sun, but Patrick Cantlay can't finish around in 6 hours.
It's so ridiculous.
It's absurd. I went to one of our THP events recently, and I won't even say what event because I don't want to call anybody out, but they were moving at a decent pace. It was a very difficult golf course, and there was a group out of ours. Most of the guys were keeping up a decent pace. They were a little behind, but it's competition golf. You get that and everything else. And where our events are held now, being private facilities, generally speaking, not all of them, but some or most, they're a little lax there. But in this case, one of our foursomes was 2 holes behind the others.
Right.
Part of it was skill level, but it really wasn't. It was a lot of practice swings. It was a lot of just not being prepared. So we're going to try to have everybody. I believe that rule should exist. There's no reason they can't have a timing meter at 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, and 18 to say this is where you are. I mean, GPS on carts do it now, but not everybody rides. There has to be some sort of something enforceable, so a person doesn't come up with the excuse of, I paid my money, I'm going to do what I want.
Which is exactly what somebody's going to say.
Exactly. So I believe those things can all exist. Moving to the next question, which is a tough one.
Which is?
What's the most excited I am, meaning me, not, the industry, moving forward in 2023 for the new equipment for companies in each category?
Yeah, that is a tough one.
And you could go a couple of different ways with this one. The first could be which company is going to be the leader in that category, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, if I'm looking at drivers, let's say, or if I'm looking at a company, what do I think they are most excited about of their thing?
Yeah,
Does that make more sense?
Yeah. So you're saying more like from that company of their upcoming launches, like what specific products category are they most excited about? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I think so. And I saw a comment, if I took 3 practice swings and then changed clubs, you don't get 3 more. No, you don't get 3 practice swings to begin with. That's way too many.
And you definitely don't get 3 more.
Yeah. So I'm looking, after I've been through pre-line on, I think, every company at this point.
I think so.
There's a couple that I would say are tougher. I would say Ping is most excited about the irons that just got released. And I wouldn't even say they're the most excited about the irons. I think they're most excited about the crossover.
Which doesn't get talked about very much.
The utility club in general, a person needs speed for that. And if they don't have the speed, they should be playing either a long iron that has more weight deep or a hybrid. And Our dog is sitting next to us right here, and he's sound asleep, and his tail is wagging.
It's so cute.
So, I would say that's where they are, and I would also say their releases are a little interesting when it comes to driver because their driver releases are 16 to 18 months, we'll call it.
Mm.
Their January releases, they're usually less excited about, in my opinion, internally than they are about their fall releases. That's just my opinion of speaking with them and so on and so forth. So I would say for Ping, it's the utility. For Cobra, they are super excited. You know, I'm not even going to say what they're excited about. I'm going to say what I'm excited about for each brand.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I'm super excited for Cobra for their driver and a product that rarely gets talked about with Cobra Golf, which is their wedges.
Oh yeah.
We both were excited when we left the meeting there.
Yeah.
So yeah, for Cobra, they're so high on this driver. They believe it's game changing, and you know, we'll go with that. And I'm going to try not to dive in too much on this stuff because there's really good equipment out right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to push ahead too far.
I agree with that.
For Callaway, I'm not sure I've seen a more complete line with brand new technology that I saw in that presentation.
Complete is the exact word that I was going to use.
We didn't see any new wedges. They just launched the Jaws Raw, so I don't think they have wedges coming. But with Callaway, that was the most complete. You know, it's super engaging because it's different.
Yes.
It's never been done, as far as I know.
It's going to be talked about.
It's going to be talked about a lot, and it's excuse me. Everybody who thinks they know what's coming is wrong. Let's just put it that way. If you're seeing stuff on the internet that they know what's coming, it's wrong. I'm just going to say it flat out because there's nothing out there that's actually real as of yet that I've seen.
Will the Granddaddy guys
get
to see it?
They will get the full presentation on it.
I thought so.
And they're going to be very surprised.
Yes.
For Srixon, we didn't talk Cleveland when we were there, which surprisingly enough, but I got a presentation on it. The new Cleveland wedges. They're so high on these.
Yeah.
I am too. I played Cleveland wedges back in high school, which based on my age is a long time ago. And played them almost every iteration since then. I used to love the look of the long hosel, and they've changed that a lot, obviously, with CG placement, for CG placement, I should say. So they're super high on the wedges, but Srixon in general was super high on basically everything.
Yes, but I would still say driver, right?
No, I would say irons.
You think so?
Yeah, it's hard because they really were like, hey, this is our most complete we've had kind of thing.
Yeah.
Srixon experience. I know Hawk is in the comments here, and he's been asking for information on it. It's coming, and it's awesome. That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm leaving some out. TaylorMade. If I was gauging their interest, I would say irons.
There's a lot of silence here. There's a lot of silence.
For our audio listeners, I'm staring in the sky, thinking of the best way to say this. I'll let you guys be the judge. MOI will be the conversation. That's all I'll say. Okay. I'm not going to give. You know us. We don't break embargo. We're never going to break embargo. It's just not our thing. I'm missing companies.
Mizuno.
Mizuno. Stay tuned.
See, that's the problem. We can't talk about anything right now.
Well, here's why. Because Mizuno just released new irons.
Right.
And they released the whole line as far as what's being talked about. But the next line that they just released is actually coming in the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. So I can't really say that because the excitement's already been around the Forged and Tour irons, the JPX line. They do not sleep on their metal woods. That's all I'll say.
Okay. I think that's enough because otherwise, I mean, there's so many brands.
Yeah, I mean, I could be here all day.
Yeah. But, if you want to keep going, but
this is the first year in several where this year reminds me of one of the first years we ever started getting close with companies, years 2 or 3 for
Mhm.
us, where we actually got the full product presentation rather than a press release. And
Right. Oh, I'm Titleist too. Just
yeah. Well, Titleist they don't release at the same time,
I
but
know.
obviously golf ball. And
yeah.
you have the excitement around the golf ball. And we'll get to the release cycles because somebody asked a really good question on that coming up. But this year reminds me of that. Like I'm so excited about what's coming. And I don't always get that way.
No.
Oh, and Edel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we'll save that one. Is there any word on new golf balls? Yes, new golf balls will be coming. I'm not going to say what company, but new golf balls will be coming. For those that are tuning in strictly to win a custom wedge, we'll have details on that. Well, shit, I might as well give the details now.
We were doing so well.
For those that watched our episode 2 episodes ago, right? When we were in California?
Yes.
Live?
Yes, 2
from
episodes
their
ago.
makeshift office.
Somebody asked about shafts too.
Oh, yeah, there's some good shafts coming out. But if you're a graphite iron player, do not sleep on recoil dart. Pay attention to some stuff we have coming soon with Project X.
Yes.
We have so much stuff on shafts coming up. Oh, and Kinetics has some cool stuff coming too.
So much good stuff.
Yeah. So might as well go on to the contest now. So 2 weeks ago, California with Jose.
Yes.
We talked about it, but then he just blurted it out. Like,
Yeah,
let's do it.
I was sitting there. I was like, wait, what? Where did that come from?
So the lucky winner of this contest is going to win a consultation with a crazy smart product guy. Many THPers have met him. He's been working with golf equipment for I'm not going to call it his age, but a long time.
A long time.
And you're going to win, excuse me, a 30-second. Wow. 30-minute video conference call with Jose. We'll have it set up. I'll be there too to make sure you have no questions unanswered. Where we're going to pencil in and figure out exactly what wedge grind works for you. But we're not giving him just one of their wedge grinds.
No.
He's actually going to hand grind the wedges. Now, he has a grind called the LRB grind, which stands for Little Rat Bastard. That's Jose's nickname. That is very popular with our 4 members because some of them got it in the Morgan Cup.
Yes.
He brings in a little straighter.
What?
Which one is it? Straighter? Yeah, it's straighter.
I need to hear it in its full sentence.
Straighter leading edge. He gives a little more heel and toe relief for some versatility without sacrificing the forgiveness you want of a slightly larger sole, but it still has the bevel in the back of their wedges. I'm talking about their existing snakebite wedges. So the club sits quite low. Hand ground. He's doing this for one person. And he does not do it for people.
No, he's doing it for himself.
This is a service that Cobra Golf does not offer.
No.
I don't think any company could offer this like at full thing.
No.
Cleveland did with their tour rack to an extent, but you had to, it was sort of choosing.
Too time consuming.
And the work of art that's created, when you look at the finished product, you can barely tell it was actually hand ground.
I know.
He's so good. So you're going to win that. And the way to enter this is here. Make sure you follow these instructions.
Listen carefully.
You must be a subscriber to our YouTube channel. You must like this video when it ends. And you must leave a comment when it ends on what wedge loft you play, as well as what style of wedge you like. So you don't need to leave a paragraph or anything like that. But if you play a 60 degree, let's say I want a 60 degree and I like to open it up a little bit, that kind of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
So if you understand that, that's the way to work it. You're going to enter the contest when our show wraps up today.
No, if you've already liked the video, you don't have to unlike it and then re-like it.
No, you're good there. Make sure you're a subscriber. Make sure you leave a comment once the show ends. If you're leaving a comment in the chat, it is not going to be entered because I copy and paste each one into a document and then we go from there. And we will announce the winner on next week's show.
Okay, which we don't know when that will be yet.
No, it's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday.
Most likely.
But yeah, we'll do that. And the lucky winner will get them all scheduled with Hose and go from there. Going back to a couple of questions. This one's for both of us.
Okay.
Which sport can we tolerate watching but we don't really like.
Okay, ours are probably going to be very different.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so I would say, first of all, we've never really watched soccer, but does Wrexham count as watching soccer?
I mean,
Because
to
if
an
that
extent.
counts,
Well, I mean, Ted Lasso.
oh yeah. Okay, well then there's 2 times that I've watched soccer. But one of them would be for me, basketball is super boring. It's like back and forth, back and forth. But you like to watch the Celtics
In the
when
playoffs.
when they're in the playoffs.
I don't watch any regular season basketball.
No, so I'll watch that with you, but I wouldn't exactly call it exciting, especially because all you hear is like the your feet squeaking, the sneakers squeaking, and then people flopping.
I can probably tolerate all sports. You know my feeling on baseball. I was a huge baseball fan.
Same.
I've been boycotting them for a decade, and I it's real to me.
Yeah.
Like I need that GIF. Until there's a salary cap, I will not watch a single baseball game, and I refuse, and I won't change.
Curling is awesome. I love watching curling.
Yeah, I would say that college football. I don't believe in college football I don't know what the best way to say it. I don't believe that academic athletics should be a thing.
Oh, we're gonna get deep if we go into this. We probably should not. Yeah,
I won't spend too much time going over that to an extent, but yeah, I don't. I'll tolerate it, and I mean, it was on in the background this weekend as we were, doing some stuff since we were both under the weather, and but. Yeah, I just, it's not my thing.
I've never watched car racing. Somebody said, does car racing
you can watch people go around our block. It's the same thing. They just make the same.
Although I will say, I actually did go to one live once when this was like way before I ever met you. I lived in Tampa.
So you were 9?
I was not 9. I was like 22. And then St. Pete, they do, I think it's Formula 1. Is it Formula 1 there? They do a Formula 1. And so I went and I saw that one time, but I was like too far away and it was just loud. I didn't really understand. It was just cars like whizzing by really fast and it was super loud. So it wasn't really fun for me, but I feel like NASCAR people really love it. So it must be exciting.
Well, NASCAR and Formula 1 are very different things, but
oh, that shows you. I know.
Excuse me. This is another THPer question, but before I get to this, let's do your get off my lawn segment.
Sure.
Because this one is pretty deep.
Yeah. Well, and it kind of works with what just happened. So what's today? Wednesday. So Monday was Halloween, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Monday was Halloween. So here's the deal, people. Trick-or-treating, it's awesome. Go out with your kids, have fun, get lots of candy. If they want to eat the candy while they're walking around the neighborhood, going from house to house, great. Don't leave your wrappers on the floor. He's giving me this hand and stretch it out because he's going to get, I think, another cough drop. But why can't you pick up your candy wrappers? Like, what's up with that? I finally left the house yesterday. Last night was the first time I'd left the house in days. And I took Arrow for a walk and there's candy wrappers all over the floor. And I remember this happened last year too. I'm like, what the heck, man? Pick up your candy wrappers. Like, are parents not paying any attention? If you're a parent, do you make sure that your kid, if they're eating their candy as they're walking, doesn't leave candy wrappers all over the floor? I'm curious about this. Oh, he's back now too. So that's my get off my lawn. Be kind and pick up your candy wrappers.
It's the similar rant to people who have a dog and don't pick up after it.
Oh,
yeah.
Let me just say, that should be one. That's terrible. If you have a dog, it is your responsibility. They make leashes with the little thing attached to it. You can buy 800 bags. Did we do this one already for Get Off My Lawn?
Maybe, I don't know.
Probably. Either way, you can buy on Amazon like 800 bags. You stick it on the thing and you bring it with you. And then you always have bags. And then, fun fact, or it's not really a fact, but more like a tip, buy a diaper genie, put it in your garage, and then you can put the poop bags in the diaper genie. And then once a week when you have your trash, or twice a week or whatever it is, you just take it, you throw it in your trash, and it's gone. And then you never have to worry about the smell either.
I will say that we've converted so many people.
Yes, to the diaper genie.
Like our friends that have come to this. It's fantastic. You never smell a thing. It works great. So
I don't smell anything right now.
True. You don't taste anything either, but I don't think you're going to eat that.
No, gross.
Somebody asked me about release dates by companies, and this cough drop's not working at all. I wanted to kind of go through the question was kind of open-ended, but I'll start with why companies release at the times they do. And really, that's a question for them more than it is for me. We have a stretching dog next to me here. But if you follow the data in golf equipment sales, and I'm going to use the ones from one particular retailer, it's not what people think. They think it's like shooting up at Christmas, and that's really not the case. The biggest months for golf equipment buying is when spring comes, the Masters, the whole 9 yards. So releasing in January with availability the following month gets people enough time for education. And I don't mean that from a marketing standpoint. I mean, with green grass and sales reps and sales associates on the floors of stores, they need to learn about the equipment so they can talk to you about it. Everybody's been to a store where the person has no idea, and it's the worst. So better education is a big thing. So you want to have a release at that time. Companies that release in non-traditional times, Titleist, Ping, Mizuno, others, it gives them a chance to be center of attention and more noticed. And I can't confirm this from Mizuno's point of view, them shifting the Forged and the Tour to the early part of the year is a kind of a unique thing to pick up that largest bell curve part of the segment. Would that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Somebody mentioned PXG. No freaking rhyme or reason why they release. There's no timing. There's no anything. Direct to consumer model. It releases. It's on sale the same day. Like they don't fit with a retailer model. It just wouldn't fit. So I can't answer on that one. But I would say that the January model goes a long way to hitting that spring time frame. The fall time frame is a smaller time frame. It works. Yeah. Golf equipment is certainly purchased, but it's a smaller time frame.
Because you do have the Sun Belt.
Yeah, well, and that is golf season for the Sun Belt. Exactly. No question about it. So I hope that answers the question. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm happy if you jump on the forum and ask the question again in the thread. I'm happy to go deeper on it. So hopefully that helps. Recipe of the week this week.
I'm not going to do one.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Time to Lysol the mic.
I can't taste anything, and therefore I cannot offer any kind of recipe right now because I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. So I'm going to skip it this week, and I'll have one for you next week. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
We have a lot more to go. So
yeah, we do.
That's good. Have you ever, we were watching something yesterday, and it was the toys that built America on the History Channel. If you don't watch the ... Built America series, you should. The Food That Built America is one of the best series on TV. Hence the reason I know that it was catsup and not ketchup. Mm-hmm. And Heinz changed it for marketing, and you guys are all just falling for big condiment in the marketing teat. But I have a lot of worthless information in my head.
You hold on one second. Somebody asked a question. Can I taste spicy? No, I can feel spicy. So this is what's weird.
You're killing my flow here.
I'm sorry, but I was trying to answer a question.
Okay.
I can't really taste much of anything, but if like something's spicy in my mouth feels like the spice. Or like I had apparently a sour blueberry. I didn't taste the blueberry, but my mouth like puckered like there was something sour. So I get the sensation of stuff, but I can't really taste it.
So all these people are big condiment. They complain and bitch about golf marketing constantly and big condiments screwing them. But there's so much worthless information. So we turned that show on.
Yeah.
And it was about like the first video games being made from a guy in Pong and things. And I was like, I know this already. I could have written that show.
Yeah. It was kind of a boring episode.
Yeah. So it dawned on me. I have a lot of worthless information. I have a lot of worthless golf information, but I have a real lot of 80s and 90s pop culture worthless information rolling around in my head.
I'm telling you guys, if you ever play Trivial Pursuit or you go to some kind of trivia night and it's like 80s pop culture, you will not lose. Like just have him as your partner, you will not lose.
So Al Leach in our comments said catsup sucks. Well, the guy basically lives in Heinz. Well, his parents do, so he visits them a lot. So he must hate Heinz. That's all I'm saying, because they were catsup.
So good. It's the only ketchup to use.
Yes, I would agree with that. You're very anti anything else.
I am, because it's disgusting. I will also add that I do think, and I'm not really like you got to get organic, like whatever, but the organic Heinz ketchup actually does taste a little bit better. It has a richer flavor.
Somebody said mayo is a superior condiment. Mayo's not a condiment, for what it's worth.
It is a condiment.
No, it's
not. Of course it is.
It's a dressing.
No. You don't put mayo on a salad. You put a mayo-based dressing on a salad.
Of course.
Yeah, but it's not the actual dressing. You're ridiculous. But go on.
Next THPR questions for both of us. Top 3 dishes for Thanksgiving. So
Oh.
for those that follow, we're big Thanksgiving people, both for giving thanks and eating our weight. Me more than her. Clearly, this body was built by Thanksgiving. And every year we do a contest on the THP forum where you show off your Thanksgiving feast. You snap a picture of it, post it in the thread.
It's my favorite thread.
It's mine too. Some people get super into it, including us. We post pictures of every dish as it's being prepared, so on and so forth. What are your top 3 favorite Thanksgiving dishes?
Okay, so my top 3, I think only one's going to overlap with you. My number 1, hands down, without question, favorite dish is my sweet potato souffle. I freaking love this thing. I would just sit there and eat that by itself, and I don't need anything else. Number 2 would be stuffing. And number 3 would be homemade cranberry sauce. Although I'm not going to lie, I don't mind the stuff out of the can either. Just not the whole berry one. It's got to be like the non-whole berry one. But those are my top 3.
For those that follow our experiences, excuse me.
We're
and
so awful today.
My diet, it would not be hard to figure that mine will have all starches. So my top 3 favorite would be macaroni and cheese.
Uh-huh.
Specifically the one you made a couple of years ago. Like that was next level.
Yeah, that was so good.
I wanted to sit in the dish so nobody else could have any.
The problem was you had to serve it right away.
Yeah.
It didn't really work later.
Most people jump in on mashed potatoes, but you make a Parmesan creamy potato dish that that should be one of your recipes of the week because it's easy to make.
Yeah, it is.
And it's fantastic. It's like next level, really good.
It's delicious.
And the third would be stuffing with a caveat. It's got to be either your stuffing, my mom, something like that. I'll call it
not Stouffer's.
Yeah, I'll call it Northeast Jewish stuffing,
right.
Which is funny because it has meat in it or
yeah, it's got sausage
pork in it.
Yeah.
So, that's not normally a thing, but yeah, stuffing. Those 3 things would be mine. Worst being all the vegetables.
The vegetables are good though, but I understand. Okay, first of all, I will say glazed carrots are delicious. Somebody up there said something about people ruin sweet potatoes with marshmallows. I don't use marshmallows. I do this like streusel type topping. It's so freaking good.
Who hurt David Hibbler?
What would he say? Red
First, he's a Duke's mayonnaise person.
No, he's from. Well, he's not. Well,
he's from Texas.
That's more like a South Carolina thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
They're all in on this red box stuffing. We're gonna put out a good recipe.
Like the Stouffer stuffing.
Yeah,
no,
it's next level stuff is good.
No,
I agree with Canada and 82. Sweet potatoes do ruin themselves.
No, they're delicious. But glazed carrots are awesome.
Going back to some more THPR questions, because we got a couple more.
Okay.
They asked an interesting one, which was how long do collectors keep their memorabilia?
This is a really good question.
And for those that follow us, we have I'll call it a man cave for lack of a better word, but it's just as much you as it is me. It's a sports room.
Yeah.
Our stuff's not going anywhere, but we have said like guy commits a crime, he's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or this is just a little note to Darnell Mooney. Okay. I don't know if you're listening.
You're gonna do a grinds my gears segment
yeah,
about how bad their game.
And I'm sure you're not listening, but I'm just saying, if you are, I need you to step up. I need you to tell that quarterback that he needs to start throwing the damn ball to you, because I've got some bye week issues this week, and I'm really gonna have to count on you. So we have your jersey. I don't know why. I think it was like a mystery box that we won. So we have it, and if you want to be displayed, put up some numbers for me.
Cody
touchdown.
In the thread just said there's nothing a potato can't do that a sweet potato does not do better.
Oh, no, I don't agree with that. And I love sweet potatoes.
Possibly the worst food take in the history of mankind. You should be ashamed of yourself. And if I didn't like seeing all the comments, I would tell you to click the X and get off the screen, because that's how bad that is.
Listen, I love sweet potatoes. Like, I'm a huge fan of sweet potatoes.
Sweet potato fries are not better than regular fries.
Well, it depends. Oh, no. Do you wait. Do you remember that marshmallow?
Yeah, that's the
dipping
condiment. That's not the actual fry.
It would taste better with that than a regular fry. Listen, I love sweet potatoes,
yourself.
But I think that potatoes are usually more versatile.
Yeah, can you imagine sweet potato hash browns? Enjoy that.
I've had them. They're delicious.
That's disgusting.
I've had sweet potato pancakes before. Also delicious.
the next one's a little going back to it, but there are people like your father with memorabilia that's had it since he dangled you over a dugout to get somebody to sign a baseball.
Very true. I am the certificate of authenticity.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to do much.
I know, but I'm just saying I was there. I remember.
The next question is a rather long one, and we get this question a lot. How many direct-to-consumer companies start with an open design versus designing from scratch? Hashtag CAD monster. All of them? No, not all of them. I would say she's going to be moseying around, so if she knocks the camera over, you'll know why.
You're going to probably see me in the background. I got to get a tissue.
So how many companies, direct-to-consumer companies, actually design their products? Ben Hogan did with a large number of them. PXG does with a large number of them. The rest don't. And it doesn't mean they're not different. It means they're starting. There's a product. The common misconception is they're buying blanks and putting a logo on it. And there is some of that is true. There are products out there that are blanks with a logo on it. There's another product out there that exists from an open source catalog. I actually have catalogs here of companies that are, I'll say, less than reputable, that have all kinds of designs, and you can pick which one you want and go from there. And one of the products is in some circles called near net forging. And a near net forging is a product that's an iron, obviously, that is near completion. And a company or a person can go in and design mill patterns, design logos, make subtle changes, but the iron itself isn't designed from scratch. Problem?
I was trying to duck behind you, and apparently I didn't do a very
No,
good
you
job.
could see you on the entire thing. So that's kind of where it is. But to take this a step further, there are mainstream companies that have done this too. Ping released wedges a few years ago. Their first forge line was an open catalog wedge.
Interesting.
There's another level of difference that is rarely discussed that I want to make mention of. And that is the level of quality control that goes into it.
Yeah, that's a big one.
So if you were working with a larger OEM, they're going to have a presence in these factories frequently to check to see how things are done, to check to make sure their design is being done properly, and so on and so forth. These 1 to 3 man shops are certainly building the clubs and checking the specs, but there's nobody who's checking the face thickness. There's nobody checking any of that. That doesn't mean they're off. Sorry. Right. And it doesn't mean that they're not quality products. I am not speaking to the performance of that. I'm speaking to the level of quality control that exists. And there will be people out there who love these products who will disagree with that, but there's nothing to disagree with. It's not an opinion. If you watch what the level that goes into the manufacturing side from some of the larger OEMs and the R&D side for some of the larger OEMs, and compare that to buying an open sourced product with mill lines put in, and they're not all the same. I'm trying not to put a blanket statement on it. It's night and day. There is a reason that most of these companies didn't offer game improvement clubs for so many years. And it's not because they weren't available in the open catalog. It's that if they purchased those from the open catalog, they all looked like knockoffs of mainstream brands. When hollow body became a thing and the oversized hollow body looks like a muscle back but isn't became a thing, all of a sudden all these companies could offer their sleek design game improvement iron and go with it from there. Now, the positive of this is they can choose their offsets, they can choose their lines and their lofts and things like that. And when they come into their office, they're going to build them locally because they're going to build by order. But the quality control on the manufacturing side is not even in the same ballpark. It's not even in the same stratosphere of what goes on at the other ones, nor is the design process. And anybody who says they're doing design in-house and they're a 1 to 3 man shop is not giving you all the information. That's the best way I can say it. I hope that answers it.
I think that was pretty well said.
Yeah. And again, I am definitely 100% not speaking to the performance of these products. that would be up to you guys to determine and tell us. So that, I hope that answers the question. JB Cobb asked about a specific brand. I won't comment on the specific brand, but yes, they fall into that category. Before we get going, next month, and we'll have a lot leading up to this. Next month is the Granddaddy.
Yes.
The Granddaddy is a special event to me. It should be a special event to everybody.
It's a special event to THP.
Yeah, it's what happens when you want to create the impossible. We always say make the impossible possible, and that's true. We do in our realm,
right?
You know, putting people together, new clubs, playing with the people who created them, all those things, they're amazing. But next month is what would happen if we had unlimited funds and we're trying to create the impossible. If you guys knew what went into the Granddaddy on the side of Callaway, it would blow your mind.
It's remarkable.
We talk a little bit about event planning. Now combine that with an entire team from a company, 13 strangers, 12 strangers, a repeat, and me, and doing things that shouldn't be done at a golf course you shouldn't be allowed to play at.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts.
There are so many moving parts. And Christ, the bus rental costs a fortune.
Yeah.
Last year we were at the Granddaddy and we posted a picture of our group sitting down and talking with Chip Brewer. For those that don't know, he's the CEO of, I think it's called Top Golf Callaway now. There are people in that office that don't get 30 minutes with the CEO because the amount of busy he is, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
And he gave it up for 13 forum members. I mean, granted, based on one of the comments, it should have been hosted by another website. Sorry, CM24. He's like, what do you do about the influencers? Like so-and-so websites. And I was like, and Chip turns to me, he's like, he's right here. But either way, it's an amazing opportunity. Last year's team was flat out humbling to watch the forum thread, and I have strong hopes for this year's team. But if you're not in the event, follow along. You are going to see and hear things and get your questions answered that you've never imagined. And these guys have a passion for it, I think. Last year's team has a passion for it, and I know I do. And I think it's going to be one of the greatest forum threads that you will ever, and we won't go down this year. We went down last year due to traffic.
We hope not.
It's not going to happen this year. It's not.
I feel like that's
certainly with what we pay for a server, it's not going to happen. I'm confident. But give it a watch or give it a read throughout the day. I don't blame anybody for having to check in. We're not asking anybody to quit a job, but when you leave for an hour, you're going to come back 40 pages behind. Don't skip them. Trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it. You're going to see things you never could imagine. But post that, we are also going to have 3 people from our staff out in California for a media launch that is going to be live on our site as well.
Yep.
You will be there.
I will. Can I say no?
Yeah. Oh, no, not the company. Who from our staff?
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah. Oh, I will be there with Dan and James.
And they will have a live thread going. And at that point, let this sink in. It's a product launch day. We're going to have a live thread with people out there with the company, as well as a million influencers that are going to be there, and celebrities and athletes,
football players, and
our Granddaddy team is going to be able to be in that thread talking about it and answering the questions of the things they post, because the Granddaddy team will have the information before any consumers on the planet.
That's right.
So that is, they'll be able to live post as you guys are live posting from home, sharing the information that they have. It's going to be it'll be the best forum thread of the year, not including our event threads.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely amazing. And I did already tell the guys, I was like, I'm telling you right now, if Austin Eckler's there, I'm going to fangirl hard. I just am going to do it. I've only done it one other time.
I only want one thing. I saw that there was a certain quarterback in the NFL that was going to be there.
Yes.
And he's rather tall. And I just want one person to get a picture of him standing next to you, not from a fan perspective, but I believe he's like 2 feet taller than you. Not quite, but 1.5 feet. And that's going to be awesome. So The Granddaddy team will be finished with their trip, obviously, back at home
Yes.
and everything else while you guys are there. But the launch is live. So they're going to be able to share their perspective in that thread
It's gonna
along
be
with the
awesome.
review threads. It's just,
Yeah.
it's like the perfect storm of golf nerddom for people like me. That's not a
Nerddom.
word, but I'm
I
running
like
with it. Yeah, it's my new phrase, golf nerddom. So that's all we got this week. Thank you guys all for tuning in. We're going to sign off here in a minute. Don't forget, enter the contest. Hand ground wedge, Morgan.
I know.
I do not have that.
No, you do not.
I have
And he
a pretty
probably
cool
wouldn't do it
Duke
for you
wedge
either.
behind me.
Yeah.
No, he probably wouldn't.
No, he'd be like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. You're gonna get a hand ground wedge. So like the video, make sure you're a subscriber. If you're not getting it. And you're gonna get a consultation and a hand ground wedge. So for myself and Morgan, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week live.
See ya.